Hey there, Stampin' Neighbor. Alicia Dolan here at Creating in My Corner. Hey there, Stampin' Neighbor. Alicia Dolan. I've spent a lot of time this afternoon trying to adjust my lights, and so I hope that you can see well tonight, and I hope that you can hear me well. So I was going to do some fall cards tonight, but it just so happens that I need a different type of card, and I made one yesterday that I think will transfer over well into another area. Hi, Kim, how are you? Okay, let's see. I need to make this part a little bigger so I can, tonight I can see your comments. See, I'm so excited. Okay, so let's see. So tonight we are going to make something with this really cute Wisteria Wishes stamp set. And not really because it's cute, but because there's some sweet little sentiments in here that we need for the card that we're going to make. So I have a friend who had someone close to her pass away, and it seems like lately that has been happening a lot. And so I need a sympathy card. And so that's what we're going to work on tonight. Let's see, it looks like maybe the things in my background are too shiny, but I don't think I'm too shiny tonight, which is a first, right? Okay. Hi, Pauline. I am excited that you guys are all here and watching, and I can see your comments. Sometimes I can't, and it stresses me out a little bit because I don't know if I'm live or if I'm not. But it looks good tonight. Okay, and I've been cleaning out my shelves too. So if you notice that my background is cleaner than normal, well, hopefully that you do, or maybe it doesn't bother you. But I'm going to turn the camera around, and we are going to start our stamping for tonight. And I'll show you more about what we're going to do. I think it's going to turn out really pretty, but we'll see. Okay, so it looks like maybe that light was a little too bright. Okay, now hopefully you can see what we're going to work on tonight. And can you still hear me okay? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up or a like or something. And anytime if you want to share the video, that's good too. Okay, so all that helps me out. If you want to like and share. And I do post most of my videos over on YouTube later, so you can watch them later. And if you sign up on my page, I even will send you an email with the measurements in it for each card we make on each Sunday. Now, I have not sent out an email the last 2 Sundays, simply because we haven't finished the card. I did finish them. Oh, I'm sideways. Oh no. All right, hold on. Let's see if I can. All right, hold on. I'm gonna switch the, oh, I can't switch it back. Okay, it's gonna take me a second to switch it. So bear with me just a minute here. Let's see, where's my camera at? I'm gonna cover it up so you don't see my mess over there. And now I'll probably have to clean off my camera lens. Okay, now I should be facing the right direction. Hopefully. Okay. Yep, I think that looks better. Okay, so tonight we are going to use Wisteria Wishes, and we are going to do some embossing, and it's going to be wonderful. Now, I have been talking a lot about coloring tools, and we went over the markers, Stampin' Write markers, and we talked about Stampin' Blends. Tonight we're going to be using Versamark ink and embossing powder. So this is a completely different type of tool. So hold on one second. I need to grab one more stamp set because I'm working with the Stamparatus tonight, and I like to put a stamp set on the opposite side of my acrylic plate to hold it flat. And today I'm going to use it up. So I've been trying different rotations of my Stamparatus, and I found this works really good. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this really well, but I have a piece of vellum here, and this is 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm going to bring it over to the side, and I am going to score it at 4.25, which would be our regular halfway mark. Okay. So, and when you're scoring vellum, I can tell you from very recent experience, you want to press with the most gentle pressure you possibly can. That just barely leaves a mark, because the other day I went to score my paper and I cut right through it. So you definitely don't want to do that. All right, now we're going to fold it in half. And we are going to take our bone folder and we're just going to press that crease. This vellum will already crease fairly well, but you always want to press it just to be sure that it's going to lay flat. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to need a couple layers. So I'm going to put a white layer on, and then I'm going to put a little vellum layer over top of that. So what we're going to do first is we're going to stamp this vellum layer. And I'm going to stamp it kind of closer to the bottom of the Stamparatus. So I'm just going to put it right here. And I put new washi tape on my magnets too this week because they were definitely wearing out. Okay, and we're using the Wisteria Wishes stamp set. So I'm going to use this stamp right here first. And I am just going to put that so that this end of the branch is off. Oh, that doesn't look fair, right? Does it? There we go. And I want my little branches to be hanging down fairly straight. I don't want my wisteria to be crooked. And I don't know if it would be in real life or not, but I don't want mine to be on this card. So now I know I can move my magnet up just a little bit closer. And I'm going to take my Versamark ink. Now, Versamark is a clear ink. I don't really even know exactly what it is. It makes a watermark stamp, but we are going to use it to emboss. And so we're just going to tap it very gently on our stamp. And I'm a little bit worried about it because I just inked mine up. So I'm afraid it's going to have too much ink, but we're going to try it anyway. So if it doesn't work, we can always make a second one, right? And then we're just going to lay it down and we're going to press really gently. We don't want to smash this ink onto our paper at all. We want it to be, and I think it might be too much, but we're going to try it anyway. Okay, so here is our first layer. And if you can, I don't know if you can see that, but that little mark is on there. And we're going to kind of move quick a little bit here. So I have my little embossing tray, my piece of paper, and my silver embossing powder. So I'm going to open this up over top of the paper because it does have a tendency to spill out. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on here like this. And when I dump mine out, I tried to dump it into my container. Oh, I forgot a step too that I should have done, and I forgot. Okay, so usually, and I will show you on the next one, before I stamped on this, I would use my embossing buddy on that. And that's just a little tool that helps the powder not to stick where you don't want it to. And every time I emboss, this is a little bit wasteful, but I use a clean piece of copy paper to catch my embossing powder with, because that stuff will make a huge mess. It goes everywhere if you're not careful with it. Okay, and now for the magic. I'm going to scoot this over. I'm going to scoot this because no one needs all that embossing powder blowing all over the place. And here is our piece of vellum. And I'm going to turn my embossing tool on. Now, this isn't a Stampin' Up! Embossing tool just because I've had it a really long time. But their embossing tool is a little nicer than this is. So I'm going to make sure it gets pretty hot first. And then I'm going to just go over where that embossing powder is until it all turns shiny silver. Okay, and I hope you could see how kind of magical that is. I always love embossing because it feels like magic to me. But I do think that might have been a little bit much for our leaves. So I am going to set this piece aside and we're going to try it one more time with another piece. So you never know when your piece might not quite turn out the way you want it to. Okay, so I've got one here and I'm cutting this piece 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And what we're going to do this time is I'm going to take my Versamark pad and a scrap piece of paper, which I have right over here. And I am just going to set it on here to kind of get some of that excess ink off, because I definitely think I inked it up a little bit too much. There we go. That looks better to me. Okay. So now I think I need to take off this because that Versamark is too thick and it's probably not going to dry very quickly. Okay, so we're going to have to do that one more time. Usually I try to have things go a little more smoothly than that, but things don't always go the way you plan. So I hope that no matter what you're making, you can make it work. You can adjust. And I probably will use that piece for something else, but I didn't want my leaves to be quite so bulky. And they were a little too much. Those leaves are a little too much. All right, so we are going to try it again. I've got to take my stamp off because I didn't mark where my paper was and I got a new piece of grid paper. So we're going to set it down right over here, just like before. I'm going to move my plate and pick it up. And now we're just going to tap our ink on again. And we're going to tap it very gently. Versamark and Craft ink are both inks that are very squishy. And so I should say the ink pad is squishy. And so if you press them into that, your image will get real bubbly, kind of. All right, let's try this again. Okay, and I can already tell that we're gonna like this one better. All right, so here we go, back to our embossing powder. And here's our little piece of paper. And I am going to sprinkle that over the top again. Okay, then I'll set this down and we can tap it in there. Oh, and you know what I did? I did the same thing again. And this time I got little smudge marks. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay. Well, should we do it again or should we just... or should we just go with it? Well, I will grab my little brush over here and try to get, okay, see how there's little bits that got where I didn't want it to. I'm going to try and use my brush to get most of those off of there. That's what it would have been helpful with that embossing buddy, but I forgot to use it. Sometimes when I come to Stampin' Sunday, I have like a real solid plan already laid out, and other times I don't. And I just never know which way is going to be better. Sometimes when I have a plan laid out, the plan goes wrong. And sometimes when I don't have a plan, that goes wrong. So, and it doesn't always go wrong. Sometimes it turns out wonderful. Some of the best things in life are not in my plan. Okay. So here we go. We can jump this back in. And I'm going to set all this aside. And we're going to get that embossing tool again. And let's see if you can see this. I think you'll be able to. Okay, so I'm going to try to turn it a little bit sideways. And maybe you'll be able to see when the magic happens. Let me know if you can see that or not. I always think it's so cool to watch it turn from powder into shiny goodness. Okay, and our leaves are a little bit smaller this time. I'll show you so you can see that. So I definitely think it made a difference taking some of that ink off of there. Okay, now we're going to put this back down. We need to, I don't know if you're stamping along with me, you guys. Do you stamp along? Should I go slower? Or do you just watch and then stamp along later? Okay, so there's that one. We're going to take that off. And we're going to grab these Wisteria pieces. And I'm going to put them right here like this. And these I am going to stamp in Fresh Freesia. Oh, watch and stamp later. Okay, so I don't need to slow down or speed up, or because you can do that on YouTube, I know. I do that a lot. I slow people down a lot. If I'm trying to take notes or paying attention. Okay, so here's our Fresh Freesia, and we're going to stamp that down. Okay, and then we're gonna dry that off in a second after we wash our stamp. I moved a lot of my stamping stuff over here to the corner to my right, and it has made my stamping go so much easier. Everything's kind of all in the same corner together. So I've been trying to take my craft room and kind of divide it up where I have my stamping stuff on one side, and then I have my sewing and everything else kind of in a different corner. So hopefully that'll help me not only feel more organized, but work faster. All right, so we're gonna dry this off a little bit. Okay, and then, all right, I already washed this, so we can take that off. Okay, I'm gonna pick up this little sprinkly piece of wisteria here. And I'm actually gonna put this one on a block so that I can stamp and stamp and stamp again more quickly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ink this up with a little bit of Versamark. And I don't think it even will need to be very much. And then I'm gonna stamp it over top of each little spot of wisteria. Okay. Now, and this is a new idea, and I haven't tried it before, so I'm not 100% sure that this is even going to work, but we're going to try it and see. It just kind of came to me today, and so, like I told you, I had a different plan. I thought we would do some fall stamping, but that is not the case. Okay, so now we're going to sprinkle this over the top. And then we'll tap it off into our container. I can see that 2 people are still watching, so that's exciting to me. Okay, let's see. Here we go again with our magic of embossing. There it goes. Okay, I think that these turned out really pretty. I don't, however, see any of the purple that we stamped in there. So I think if I were to do it again, I would stamp, kind of offset it a little bit so that it wouldn't be right in the center. All right, so next we are, let's see, I guess we got to look at our plan here. So here's our piece of white. This is going to go over top. I feel like maybe we need a little leaf down here in the corner. So let's stamp that. Let's see. And I can use this little block again because it's just one little leaf. So we'll pull this little leaf here, which is right there. And we want it to be right down here in the corner. Okay, so we're going to take our block, our Versamark. We're just going to tap it gently on there. You know what? And this time I'll use the embossing buddy so you can see. It's just a little pouch, and you just rub it over the spot you're going to emboss. And I'm not sure what's inside there. Maybe something like cornstarch or some kind of powder. I'm not sure. All right, so then we're going to stamp our little leaf in the corner. Okay. Set that aside. And get our embossing tools back. Okay, and then we're doing a lot of embossing tonight. So if you already know how to emboss, you are well on your way to making this tonight's project. Okay, and see how much easier that powder left my page when I use that embossing buddy. I don't know why sometimes I forget that, but it does make a huge difference. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to show you that little bit of magic again. Here we go. There it goes. All right, so there is the, oh, I got a little smudge there. There is the front of our card. And it's gonna go. Okay, we can start putting the front together. And I have just this week, learned to use the Stampin' Seal adhesive. So let's see, I don't know where I put it. Oh, here it is, right on my table. So that's the problem with cleaning up, is sometimes you can't find where you put stuff. Okay, so when you use the Stampin' Seal, this is what I found works for me. If you are going along, you want to always go in a straight line. If you go crooked, this little tape at the end will run right off. It'll come right off. And then you cannot glue anymore. So you definitely don't want that. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start out just like this. And then when I get to the end, I kind of tip the end up a little bit. And that seems to help me stop without making too big a mess. And now I still can't go very fast with this, but I do feel like I've kind of sort of figured it out. And if it stops, you can use your finger to roll it forward just a tiny bit. Oh. Okay, but the bonus is that in general, you can put this on vellum and it won't show through too much. Most adhesives will show a definite mark behind when you put it on vellum. And if you look closely, you might be able to see just a tiny bit, but not much more than that. So it turns out really cool. All right, and now we're gonna put Now look at the back of that. Looks really pretty too.
Oh, I like that.
So, all right, we're gonna put our Stampin' Seal on there. And this is regular Stampin' Seal, not Stampin' Seal Plus. Stampin' Seal Plus actually has little lines in it. So you might, I think you might see those, but I didn't try it. Okay, and then we're gonna do one through the middle. Okay. So then, well, I can see that one in the middle. Hopefully I won't be able to once I put it down. We're gonna try and get it right in the center because this is not very forgiving. Like the liquid adhesive, sometimes you can scoot around a little bit. This, I have not found a good way to scoot it around. Okay, so there is the front of our card. We are also going to stamp our sentiment, and we're going to stamp it right over here on this circle. No, it's not a circle yet, but it's going to be a circle. Glue dots. Okay, you can use glue dots with vellum, but you will see them just a tiny bit. So when I use glue dots with vellum, I always try to put them where I'm going to put a gem to cover them up. So if you put them behind your images, then you wouldn't notice them as much. All right, and then this is the little sentiment we're going to use. We're going to use this one right here that says hang in there. I just thought that was perfect for the situation. Okay, and now we're going to emboss again. I did say we'd be doing a lot of embossing tonight. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to dump it over, tap it on there, and dump it right back in our little container. Okay, and here we go again. This time on the white, we're going to emboss. And sometimes I warm up both sides of my paper because I find that when I'm embossing the front, sometimes it curls up a little bit. And if I warm up the back, sometimes it will flatten back out. Okay, and then I am going to cut this out using the layering circles dies. And so I'm going to use this smooth size circle right here, which is about 2 inches. And I'm going to take it right over here to my embossing machine. I probably should call it my die cutting machine, since that's what I'm using it for right now. All right, so here is our circle. And then I'm going to cut out a scallop circle from this silver foil paper to go behind. Okay, so there is our circle. And I need to put these over here so I don't forget where they are. Okay, and now I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal again to put this together. Now, usually I would use a glue dot for this. I don't always use liquid glue when I'm gluing onto the front of this shiny kind of material. You can, but sometimes I find it's a little too slippery. It takes a little bit longer to dry, but it can be a little bit slippery. Okay, and then we are going to put this on the front with some Stampin' Dimensionals. I have right over here. So I think 2 should do it. And we're just going to stick that. Let's see. I'm trying to decide now, where should it go? I think I'm going to put it down here. I thought at first I was going to put it over here, but then I realized I put a leaf there. So that wouldn't exactly work out. Okay, now I have another piece here that is 3 3/4 by 5, and I'm going to put this one on the inside. So what I am going to do with this one, okay, this time I'm going to remember to use my embossing buddy. And I'm just going to run it all over like that. And then we're going to put just a little embossing on the inside. I'm actually going to do 2, let's see, I want to do 2 things. So I can't remember if I cleaned the stamp or not. So I'm going to clean it again real quick. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna put one thing. I was gonna put some words in there, but I feel like I'm gonna want to write my own message later. So I'm not, most of my cards I leave blank on the inside. I don't put anything on the inside. I know some people like to stamp sentiments that go together, but I kind of like them just to be blank. And then I'll put one down here. Just like that. Okay, so we'll emboss that, and then I'll show you how to put it on the inside. And I did always use glue dots with the vellum before. It's just since I figured this out and I saw it done in person, which made a difference for me. Because I really struggled with the Stampin' Seal at the beginning. I could not figure it out. I think I was too used to the adhesive that we had before, and it works just a little bit different. It's definitely stickier than the old one, but I feel like it runs off the track a little bit quicker for me. And maybe because I don't go in as straight a line as I should. Okay. Last embossing. My cord got stuck a little bit. All right. So there is our card. Yeah, we're going to open it up and put this on the inside. I can still feel a little bit of that embossing powder. I was really careful with that, you guys, and it still gets a little bit of everywhere. Okay, so here we go with our Stampin' Seal again. And we're just going to run it along and then tip it up. Run it along and tip it up. Oh, see, evidently I'm still struggling. I did practice. I promise you. All right, so here we go. Run it along, tip it up. And I'm trying really hard to hold it nice and flat. Maybe I'm going too fast for myself. I don't know. Okay. I just don't want to end up all stuck to my project. That's not fun. Okay, so then we're going to put this one on the inside. Ooh, I got a little bit where I wanted to. Okay, well, we're just going to put it there anyway. It was a little farther off than I wanted it to be, but it's going to be fine. I'm going to be okay with it. Okay, so here is our card for tonight. So see how beautiful that is? It really turned out nice. I do wish you could see the purple a little bit more, and I will do a second one, I'm sure, and do it a little bit differently. But I think this is really cool. It's great. It's going to be a great sympathy card. And you know what else it needs? It needs just a few of these little sparkly gems, right? Because we all need sparkly gems in our lives. We just do. Okay, so let's take and we'll put one up here and one over here and one right there. Okay. So there is our card for tonight for Stampin' Sunday. I'm so glad that you could join me. I hope that you have absolutely no need for a sympathy card, but if you do, this one is really pretty, and you could use any sentiment on the front of this. There's quite a few on the Wisteria Wishes. I really like this stamp set. There's one that says, faith is about trusting. Happiness grows within. To a friend who's all kinds of wonderful. Hang in there, even when you don't understand. So this is it's a great stamp set. I think the images are really nice. I hope that you are making something wonderful and having a wonderful time stamping. I will see you again next Sunday. It would make a pretty wedding card. The one that I made yesterday was gold, and it was a birthday card. And so that turned out really pretty too. I might make quite a few of these, and so you'll see them on my card rack soon. Have a great week, everyone. Happy stamping. I'll see you next Sunday.